only to the top 0.2%. Very, very richest people in this country. If we repeal the estate tax, as Trump wants us to do, it will mean that the Walton family, you all know the Waltons of Beaumont, the wealthiest family in America, that family will get a $50 billion tax break. So we got half of our kids in public schools are living in poverty. They're on free and reduced lunch programs. We've got veterans sleeping out on the street. We have a serious lack of affordable housing. Our infrastructure is collapsing. And we have billionaires who are not paying a nickel in taxes because of a rigged and corrupt tax system.
That's wrong!
Hillary, what Mr. Trump wants to do is repeal the estate tax and also give enormous tax breaks to large, profitable multinational corporations. That is absurd. What Secretary Clinton wants to do, and I think most of us agree, is to tell these billionaires they are going to start paying their fair share. In America today, the top 0.1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. In the last 16 years, the number of billionaires in this country, not millionaires, billionaires has gone up by 10-fold. 16 years ago, there were 51 billionaires. Now there are some 540 billionaires. We have a nation in which we have more income and wealth inequality than in any time since the late 1920s. We together are going to create a government that works for the middle class, works for working families, works for the children, works for the elderly, and it's not dominated by the greed of the 1%. What does that mean in practical terms? This is what it means. What Secretary Clinton understands is that we have too many people in this country who are working for wages that are just too low. And some of those people are working not just one job, they're working two jobs, they're working three jobs. She understands that the federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour is a starvation wage. Is not Donald Trump's position. He has no intention of raising the minimum wage, and in fact may allow states, if he were elected president, God forbid, to even lower or do away with the concept of the minimum wage. Secretary Clinton understands that in America in the year 2016, it is simply wrong that women are making 79 cents on the dollar. I understand that we need pay equity in America. Secretary Clinton understands that our infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our tunnels, our water systems, our wastewater plants all over this country are crumbling. And she knows that if we invest in rebuilding that infrastructure, we can create millions of good-paying jobs and purchase a whole lot of steel. She has a very detailed plan on how to rebuild our infrastructure. Secretary Clinton also understands a very profound point. And that is that our country will not do well in the future. Our standard of living will not go up. Our economy will not be strong unless we have the best educated workforce in the world. ago, when in fact the United States did have the best educated workforce in the world. We had the highest percentage of people who graduated college of any major country on earth. Today, we are falling behind many, many other countries. And Secretary Clinton understands that if we are going to have the best educated workforce in the world, we have got to encourage people to get an education, not discourage them. And she understands the absurdity of millions of people in this country leaving college or graduate school with tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. And she also understands the horror of hundreds of thousands of bright young men and women who have the ability and the qualifications to get a college education, but are unable to do so for one reason alone: their families lack the money. That is not what America is supposed to be about. Secretary Clinton and I have worked on a proposal which says the following. It says that public colleges and universities will be tuition-free for every family in America earning less than $125,000 a year. Proposal, my friends, is revolutionary. And it does two things. Number one, it says that we want you, when you graduate college, to go out and get your life together, not spend decades paying off student debt. It says that we want you to go out and get the jobs that you want, not necessarily a job that pays a lot of money that you have to get in order to pay off your debt. And the other thing it says is even more profound. I grew up in a family that did not have a lot of money. Neither of my parents. My father dropped out of school at the age of 16. My mother graduated high school. That was her education. All over this country, there are low-income and working-class kids whose parents never went to college, who by the time they're in the 4th or 5th grade, they know that they're never going to go to college, their family can't afford it, they're never going to make it into the middle class. And you know what happens to those kids? They drop out intellectually. They say, why do I want to study? Why do I want to do my homework? I'm not going anywhere. So maybe I'll drop out when I'm a junior in high school. What's the difference? I'm never going to make it to the middle class. When we tell every teacher in America, when we tell every parent in America, when we tell every child in America that you study hard, you do well in school, you know what? Regardless of the income of your family, yes, you are going to get a college education. That a whole lot of people from all walks of life, all ages, are very discouraged about politics in America. They turn on the television and all they see is negativity and negativity. Everyone's beating everybody else up. What I want and hope that all of you focus on is get beyond personality and look at the hard issues of which candidate for president is in fact going to stand up for the middle class and working families, and which candidate, i.e. Mr. Trump, is going to stand up for the billionaires and the ruling class of this country. I want to say another area where there are very significant differences of opinion between Mr. Trump and Secretary Clinton. That is the issue of climate change. Let me be very clear, as a member of the U.S. Senate Committee on the Environment and the Senate Committee on Energy, that the scientists are virtually unanimous in telling us that climate change is real. It is caused by human activity. It is already causing devastating problems all over our country and in fact all over the world. And what Secretary Clinton understands is we can create millions of decent paying jobs, making our country energy efficient, creating energy efficient transportation, and moving to sustainable energy. We can bring millions of jobs. In a very dangerous way. What Mr. Trump and other Republicans are doing is saying we can reject science. We don't have to listen to the scientists. That is a very dangerous way to make public policy. Because what the scientists tell us is if we don't get our act together in combating climate change, in the years to come, we're going to see more drought, more floods, more extreme weather disturbances, more international conflict as people fight for limited natural resources like water. You're going to see rising sea levels. You're going to see acidification of the ocean. We have a moral responsibility to combat climate change and to make sure that the planet we leave our kids and our grandchildren is a healthy and happy place. Nolan made a very, very important point, and it doesn't get the attention that it deserves. Now, we can go on for hours talking about the serious challenges facing this country, but there is, as Rick indicated, one issue which is paramount, which impacts every other issue. If you're concerned about the environment, if you're concerned about education, if you're concerned about healthcare, if you're concerned about children, you must be concerned about the corrupt campaign finance system we have today. Call me maybe old-fashioned and conservative, but I believe in democracy. I believe in democracy. You know what democracy means? It means you disagree with me, that's fine. It's democracy. You get one vote, and you get one vote, and you get one vote. What democracy does not mean is that billionaires should be able to buy elections. And that is what we are seeing. Brave men and women here in Minnesota and my state of Vermont put their lives on the line and sometimes died to defend our way of life, and our way of life is democracy. One person, one vote. It is not the Koch brothers spending hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in order to elect candidates who will give the rich even more in tax breaks. That's not democracy. And it is not multi-millionaires running for office, as I gather you have right here, trying to buy this congressional seat. That's not democracy. In my view, if I could, I know I speak for Secretary Clinton, when she told me just a few days ago that within the first 100 days of her administration, she will be proposing a constitutional amendment to overturn citizenship. Win elections based on their ideas. You got a great idea, go out and tell your constituents what you think. Don't buy elections. There's another issue I want to touch briefly on. You know, in a democracy, people can disagree on any and all issues. And I love that. I love a vigorous debate. You gotta learn from other people. Don't think you have all the answers. But what I will not tolerate is a candidate like Donald Trump running a campaign, in fact, the cornerstone of this campaign being bigotry. Right? So we can disagree about this issue, we can disagree about that issue. But this country, as all of you know, has struggled from its inception, from before we became a nation, in terms of what the